So today we're going to build an inexpensive, easy to do barbecue cart for this Traeger pellet grill for little or no money. So welcome back to Greenhorn Barbecue and Beer. If you're new here, my name is Todd. Be sure to smash that red button to subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss a thing. So we've had this Traeger pellet grill for a very long time, probably about going on 7 or 8 years now. It's definitely paid for itself in the years of service it's given us. With just a little bit of care, the thing is just cooked and cooked and cooked and never skipped a beat. But there's one little flaw that it has, and a lot of you might notice it. You know, it's got these really skinny little flimsy legs. It's probably one of the first things people notice, especially on the older Traegers when they see them. You know, they really don't have a very strong stand. Now, some of the newer pellet grills have a much more robust cart or stand and legs and wheels now, but these early Traegers, you know, I don't know what they were thinking. I almost tipped this thing over several times, pushing it on the firebox side or the drain side. It's really top heavy, and if you hit a rock or something, you know, that's it, man. That thing's tumbling. Now, I like to, from time to time, push this thing off my patio into the grass to get a little better air and just enjoy the sunshine a little bit more when I'm cooking. But these little wheels here just won't stand up to rolling off the step here into the rocks and over the grass. You know, it's a dicey proposition. I'd also like to take it in my toy hauler once in a while camping for some larger cooks that I have once in a while. And again, these cheap little flimsy little wheels just don't stand up for rolling around a lot. They're great for a nice level concrete surface, but it just don't cut it. So we're gonna look around the house here, try to find something that's suitable. I got a couple ideas, but I figured I'll take you with me and let you decide. No, I'd say that's definitely too small. And that's definitely not the right kind of cart. Yeah, you know, Traegers really aren't that heavy, so I'm gonna pass on those wheels. Yeah, you know, this ain't a Yoder smoker, so I don't need that expensive set of wheels. Yeah, I definitely like the motorcycle lift, the handle and those castering wheels. Just not big enough for the dirt. Yeah, I'm not giving up this thing, plus I think it's too old anyway. This thing's seen better days. Yeah, you know what? I think I got an idea here. You know something? Quick trip to Harbor Freight for some casters. And I think this bench is gonna work great. I think I found a solution. We have a couple of these side benches from an old picnic table we used to have sitting around the yard and the porch. They're in really great shape. They're built really well with deck screws by some local kids that used to be in business around here. And they've held up really good. They're sturdy. They're really heavy, which, you know, is what you want. And interestingly enough, the length of the table matches the length of the Traeger. Okay, so it's about 36 inches long, and from the smoke box, from the hopper to the end of the base here is about 36 inches. Now, the depth is about 14.5 inches. It's a little bit narrower than the Traeger's 16 inches, which is okay because I've come up with a mounting method that will take care of that. I've also went to the local hardware store and got 4 of these castering wheels that pretty inexpensive. I think 15 bucks for 4 of them. And I'm gonna mount those on the legs down here, and it's gonna raise it up a few inches, which is what I want. I've always thought this Traeger is a little bit low for us taller folks. And plus I'm going to use some 4x4 pieces of lumber here, mounted sideways, to put up under this little cavity on this little base here of the cooking chamber of the Traeger. I'm going to be taking off the legs and then using maybe drilling my own holes here to mount to the 4x4 pieces. So basically, it's going to be a pretty simple build, so let's get started. All right, there we go, guys. A low cost, just a few dollars, Traeger cart, competition cart. Yeah, you be the judge. So we ended up using that side bench from a picnic table that we sold a long time ago, but we kept the side benches. It's been sitting out in the yard for a long time, and you know, it was just basically just taking up space. So I ended up going away from my original plan of just mounting a square piece of wood and the caster to each individual leg. I ended up having about a 3/4 or 5/8 piece of pine, laminated pine board, shelving grade, and I used that for the entire bottom, kind of like a shelf. I lag bolted it into each leg, and then I attached the casters to the pine board at the leg so that all the weight is on each one of the 4 bench legs. And I tell you, it ended up being a lot better than these little flimsy legs. It's really stable. It's got about a 2-inch bigger wheelbase on length and width, and all 4 wheels caster now, so it's much easier to get around the porch with it. Not to mention, it's a good 6 inches taller than what it used to be. We're a little bit taller than the average people in this house, so it makes getting in and out of that grill so much easier. First plan was to use some 4x4 pieces of wood underneath to kind of raise it up some more. I kind of went away from that plan. I ended up using just 2 22-inch pieces of 2x4, and I screwed them directly to an inside lip of the Traeger's square base. I used 4 screws and nuts, machine screws, the same ones that came off the legs that are Allen wrench type. And I used those on each side to fasten the 2x4 furring strips, if you will. I can't think of any other name for them. They overhang the bench just a little bit, but that's okay. You know, I end up centering the Traeger. Not sure if you can get a good, I'll get some B-roll, but I ended up centering the Traeger on the bench and letting the hopper with the pellets and the controls overhang just a little bit off the side there. There's an intake fan and a cooling fan up under there, and it gets plenty of air now. There's no blockage at all. And then for you guys that are wondering about the actually cook chamber that sometimes gets pretty hot, it's got about 3 to 4 inches of space between the top of the bench and the bottom of the cook chamber. Plus, either end, there's plenty of gaps, so I think there's going to be plenty of airflow. After the first high cook, I'll give you guys an update on it and let you take a look and see for yourself. You can also see that this drip bucket sits on this natural shelf because of the width of the bench. Goes up right up under that drain, and the handle even gets onto the little hanging clip right there. So that's a perfect solution. I don't no longer have to use a bucket. I could just put a little cheap throwaway aluminum pan there if I wanted to, as well as this bottom shelf now. It's a great place to just put stuff, maybe some pellets if I'm outside. You know, if it's a dry day, I keep all my pellets inside anyway, so I don't want to promote putting pellets outside. And well, as you can see, it's a pretty good deal. I think I'll let you see the back of it. See how well this thing rolls. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? So as you can see, nice clean back. So I think my next future mod is I'm just going to dress up the back here on this right here and just put a piece of plywood to cover up the back. That way on the other side, you know, anything I have on the shelf doesn't fall off the back. So I could put this up against a wall and not have to worry about things falling to the back. I can even use sheet metal and just surround the whole base and kind of paint it up, make it look like a competition cart. Get a little view of the back. Pretty nice, huh? So here's a little better view of the back. That's about 1.5 inches of room right here. And plus the bench also has these cracks in the top seat too, a little bit of air in there. And then, so that's about 3 inches. That's about 3 inches of space right there. So gets plenty of airflow under there. I'm not worried about it. I don't think this thing's going to catch on fire because it's pretty good wood. Some cast off metal that I have, and I'm going to make a handle coming from here, and I'm going to tie it into this, but all the weight will be supported from either side here. So I'm just going to come up here a little bit, come around here, have a nice handle, and then I can actually lift up here to get it up over steps and things like that. Anyway, tell me what you think in the description down below, and what kind of mods you think might look good for this. All right, guys, hope you liked the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit that red button, and ding that bell so you don't miss a thing. And we're gonna get cooking here. We got some pork chops to cook that we've been marinating overnight, and we're gonna pull out the Weber and do that, so be looking for that video.